Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I want to be talking about console settings and sensitivity. And specifically in this video, I just want to be talking about building sensitivity. And I'm going to go in detail on my sensitivity that I'm using for building and what I would recommend when it comes to building in Fortnite. If you want to build faster, if you want to build more efficiently, I'm going to be going into sensitivities that you guys should be trying out and using in game to game. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of either your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys have not already, make sure you guys add me on Snapchat. I am very active on there. I post a ton, so you definitely don't want to miss out. So make sure you guys add me on Snapchat. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, like I said, I want to be talking about building sensitivity in Fortnite because I think it is really important and a very important aspect of Fortnite and when it comes to building and your building speed. And in a second, I'm going to show you guys what sensitivity that I'm using. I've tried a lot of different building sensitivities, and I've seen anything from having no building sensitivity to all the way up to a 1.7 or a 1.8 with building sensitivity. And typically the higher building sensitivity players have the lowest building sensitivity, because when you're on that higher sensitivity, a lot of players don't even see the need for a very high building sensitivity, because there's really no point in playing like a 10-10 sensitivity and a 2 building sensitivity. That wouldn't make any sense at all. That'd be kind of ridiculous, and you really wouldn't be able to control anything, your shots or your building. And in my opinion, when it comes to building sensitivity, you really don't even have to jack it up that high. Some people jack it up a little bit more than others. I keep mine at a pretty low. I don't really jack it up too much. I tried everything out when I first came out. So I remember when it first came out, I tried out everything. I tried out a 2 sensitivity. I mean, that was just way too high. It was just not going to work. My shot was going to be all over the place. So I lowered it down a little bit. I tried a 1.7 and it was a little bit quicker, but at the same time, I just felt like my Y sensitivity, because there's no building X and building Y sensitivity, it's just a building sensitivity, and I just felt like it was way too much when I would go up and down. So I decided to lower it even more. And then I tried a 1.15 or a 1.5, and around there, that was a really good sensitivity to have, and that's a sensitivity I would recommend for you guys just starting out to see where you kind of like it. If you like a little bit more, if you want to go a little bit faster, then of course you can increase it, but if you want a little bit less, you can decrease it. But I do have a few tips and a few recommendations when choosing your sensitivity for building, and exactly why I chose the sensitivity that I use now. So the controller building sensitivity that I use currently, I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys. The building sensitivity that I am using currently is a 1.35. This is the one I've been using for the past couple weeks, and I really do like it. I think it's the best sensitivity for me. And of course, for everyone else, it's going to be a little bit different, but for me, a 1.35 is the way to go. And just some good guidelines when it comes to choosing your building sensitivity. I would say the best thing that you want to do is you want to try to keep it as low to 1, because 1 is basically the same sensitivity. So if you go less than 1, you have a lower building than aiming, which wouldn't make any sense at all. You always want to have it like the same or higher. You never want to go lower than 1 in a building sensitivity. So in the 1 to 2 range, you want to keep it as close to the 1 as possible, but at the same time, you want to be able to build quickly and just being able to get your builds off. From playing on a 1.5, like I said earlier, I used to play on that for like a couple weeks, just try to figure it out. And I did like a 1.5, but I felt like my shot was a little bit off, and my building sensitivity really didn't even need to be that high, so I lowered it a little bit. I tried like a 1.4, and I lowered it again to a 1.35. And when at a 1.35, I was able to build at pretty much the exact same speed. The only problem was if I was getting shot in the back, it'd take me a little bit longer to turn around. But it really wasn't that huge of a difference, and I feel like it made a ton of difference when it came to building. And just having that lower building sensitivity, I really felt like my aim was cleaner and my building was a lot cleaner, because I feel like the higher sensitivity you go for building, the more sloppy it is. I would definitely say the higher you go, the more mistakes you're going to be typically making, because you're not going to be able to control it as much. And although of course some people are going to be able to control like a 1.7, 1.8, I would say the range you want to have it, I would say the lowest you want to go is like a 1.15 to a 1.2, and the highest you want to go is like a 1.7, 1.8. So anywhere in between those kind of numbers is exactly where you want to be. Like a 1.4 would be good, 1.5, 1.35, or maybe even a 1.6 might even suit your needs. But in my opinion, you want to be able to build quickly, but at the same time, you want to have it as close as you can to 1, because it's going to be a lot more easier and it's going to be a lot smoother when it comes to actually building a game and then coming off your building and hitting your shots. Because if you go from a really high building sensitivity to pulling pulling out your shotgun and trying to go for a shot is really going to mess you up, because if you have a really high building sensitivity and a really low aiming sensitivity, it's going to be a little bit weird trying to switch in between both. So I would recommend just having the lowest possible building sensitivity, but at the same time you can build the fastest at. One other thing apart from building sensitivity that I wanted to talk about is something that I switched just of recently. I mean, just as a few days ago, I switched this setting because I thought, why not give it a shot. So I changed up my binds a little bit. I changed up a setting, and the setting that I changed is sprint by default. So basically when I turned that on, I didn't have it on at first, and I just turned it on, so I have it on now. And basically all it does is it makes you sprint automatically. And the reason why I like this the most, because I feel like when I have it on, I'm able to move as fast as possible. Because I had a lot of times where I try to sprint, or maybe if I accidentally walk into a build, it's going to make me stop sprinting and I have to repress it down. So when I have sprint by default on, I'm always going to be going as fast as possible, because if I do get slowed down by something, as soon as I walk forward or something clears out the way, I'm going to be able to sprint right away, so it's not going to slow me down at all. And I feel like I've noticed an improve in building speed when it comes to editing and just building in general, because I'm always going to be sprinting, I'm always going to be moving as fast as possible, and I think that's really important when it comes to building quickly. You always want to make sure you're moving as fast as possible when it comes to building. And if you don't have it on, what I've noticed is when I press the left stick down, so I had to press down my left analog stick to sprint, I would notice sometimes I would get stuck or other things like that, and I've been trying to sprint or trying to move out the way, and I'm not going to be able to because I have to hit the left stick down again. And some points I get stuck on things and I don't even realize it, so it screws me over for a few seconds before I even realize that I have to press the sprint button again. So having sprint by default on, something I would highly recommend. I've only tried it out for a few days. I've heard some people had glitches with it or other things like that. For me personally, I've never had any glitches with it. It's been working perfectly fine. But I have heard of people who have had experiences with glitches when it comes to it. Maybe they get stuck walking, they can't even sprint at all, just different things like that. So I would say I would always recommend trying it out, and if it doesn't work, then you can switch it back. But this is something that I would highly recommend trying out. I think it's really going to improve your building speed and just your overall movement speed when it comes to getting around the map in Fortnite. One other thing that I would like to mention about sprint by default, a lot of people would think that it may be a little bit harder to control, maybe they sprint when they're not wanting to, but when it comes to sprinting in Fortnite, there's like a quick second or 2-second delay in between when you start running and when you start sprinting, because when you first start to sprint in this game, it takes like a second for it to actually start sprinting. It starts jogging at first and then it starts to sprint. So if you have to make quick movements or you're just trying to peek around a corner, the sprint by default isn't going to mess you up at all, because you're not going to be able to sprint right away. So having that in mind, it's actually kind of helpful they don't sprint automatically right when you start running. It kind of takes like a second or two. So if you want to go for some quick turns or just look around a corner, it's not going to cost you. And that's another reason why I would recommend using sprint by default. And the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to choosing the right building sensitivity for you to use and what's going to make you better at the game is understanding when it comes to changing your building sensitivity, you really have to pick and choose what you want, especially for the console players. On PC, when they have a mouse, they can move it as fast as they want or as slow as they want, so it's a whole lot easier. But for console, when it comes to changing your sensitivity, when it comes to raising your sensitivity, it is going to make you a little bit faster builder, but it can make you a little bit more sloppy at the same time. And when it comes to a lower building sensitivity, I feel like if you have a lower building sensitivity, once you come out, your aim's going to be a lot better because it's going to be more used to your actual sensitivity. So once you come out of that building, you're going to be a little bit more accurate. So you definitely have to pick and choose what you want to be good at, because once you have a higher building sensitivity, you are able to turn around faster. So if you get shot in the back or maybe you get shot on the side, you are able to turn around a lot faster than if someone with a lower building sensitivity. And just keeping in mind, just because you raise your building sensitivity doesn't mean you're going to be able to build faster, because in my case I feel like I was able to build a lot faster in a 1.35 than a 1.5, just because the amount of mistakes I was making on a higher building sensitivity, it really wasn't worth it. So when I lowered my building sensitivity, I was making a whole lot less mistakes, and in that case it definitely was making me able to build a lot faster in Fortnite than I was before. And with that being said, that's right for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys choose a good building sensitivity to use. And if you guys could, make sure you guys drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications, and as well, make sure you guys add my Snapchat if you haven't already. I've been posting a ton on there recently, so make sure you guys add me on Snapchat. You guys don't want to miss out on that. The name of my Snapchat is Younghumor YT, so make sure you guys add me if you haven't yet. And alright guys, I will see you in the next video.